Welcome back, Guardians. And today we talk about a man you may respect or hate, depending on how you do within his domain. This is Lord Shaxx. And before we talk about him, I'm going to get something out of the way real fast. For those of you that are new to this channel, most of the things I'll be talking about will probably be in the description below. For example, some things in his history overlap with other videos I've done. So if there's a certain event, say a certain battle, that's probably down in the description below and I've already done it. So if you want more information on that, go ahead and click on it. And if I missed any events that you're just like, hey, wait, where's this? You said you have it. I guess just subscribe and wait for it, because I'm probably going to do it. But anyways, back to Lord Shaxx. Lord Shaxx's story begins around the time of Saladin Forge. He trained alongside Zavala. Lord Shaxx rose to his current position through a battle called the Battle of the Twilight Gap. This was a battle between the Guardians and the Fallen, but it actually took place in the Twilight Gap. You may recognize this place as one of the arenas you fight in the Crucible. That is that exact place. You're walking on a lot of dead Guardians there, pals. Pay your respects. But the two, Lord Shaxx and Commander Zavala, not at the time, they were following their master into battle. The two proved their worth within the battle, taking out many Fallen and ultimately earning their names. Lord Shaxx, also Lord Zavala, but he later became commander of the Vanguard. That's his story though, we're talking about Lord Shaxx. Lord Shaxx saw something in the Battle of the Twilight Gap. He didn't really have like a vision or anything like that, nothing supernatural, more or less of looking around him and noticing there's a lot of dead Guardians. What if the Fallen were to attack again? Would they be ready? Would this new generation of Guardians be able to withstand another attack such as this one? He doesn't want to see his friends die. He wants everyone to be ready. He wants you to train in a certain area and become stronger. Faster, quicker, better, more tactical, use strategy, just everything all around to make yourself a better Guardian and to protect the city and others. That is what Guardians do. They protect. They guard. Lord Shaxx's generation Guardians were nothing as they are now. Our generation Guardians go visit Cade 6, Zavala, and Okora Ray, whereas they didn't really. They kind of did their own thing. Back then, the Vanguard wasn't as proactive as they are now, except the Battle of the Twilight Gap kind of opened their eyes. So what Lord Shaxx did was he opened up something called the Crucible. This was so that the Guardians could be more prepared for another battle, such as the Twilight Gap. He also plans to return to war someday. He's very pro-war. So if the Fallen were to do anything, he's going to throw everyone he's got at them, which may be a good idea or a bad idea, you decide. Also, as a little side note, during this time he's waiting for this, he commands a special group of the Guardians called the Red Jacks. You may have seen some class items with this on it. These are the group of people that go around and capture new places for the Crucible and technically the SRL, kind of. So whenever you have a DLC, the Red Jacks are out there finding these places, making sure that they're safe, and ultimately have not a lot of contact with other enemies, so that you Guardians can go around killing each other for fun and having Lord Shaxx yell at you when you do bad. As you already know, Shaxx takes his duties very seriously, almost comical. He sees the Crucible less as a glorified arena, which we kind of see it as, and more as an intense training ground. He'll sometimes yell at you saying you don't measure up, and you suck, and you're worthless. How dare you suck at the Crucible? You'll never be as good as us, Generation Guardians, and you'll never last in war. He doesn't really say that. That's more between the lines of it. Because him and Commander Zavala are close together, he wouldn't mind Commander Zavala returning to the Crucible. He wants him to go into the Crucible and show all the new recruits how it's done. That would be quite a DLC. Although he is a Titan, he does show a lot of respect for other Guardian classes. I feel like it's more biased towards Titans, but, you know, he can do the best he can. If you're wondering how the R-Site 9940, that little guy, also known as the Crucible Quartermaster, how is he incorporated, if he is incorporated with this at all? So, this guy was Lord Shaxx's personal combat frames. People used to have these things. Our sites are combat systems, but were removed and replaced with Towers vendor protocols when Shaxx began overseeing the Crucible. I don't know why, but he still has one. The memory banks are still in the combat frame, so he still remembers all the battles he fought. You'll also notice that he does adopt many of Shaxx's mannerisms. He has the accent, and he also kind of repeats the same things he says, if you listen closely. Lord Shaxx also has ability that is quite unique about him. He's one of the very few old generation Guardians that is an expert with swords. Now that's something you don't want to trifle with. His interest in swords began with the Battle of the Burning Lake. This took place on the moon when Crota marched his forces in and seized it. This is where Lord Shaxx learned of the Hive's sword logic the hard way. He then took it upon himself to learn how to reverse engineer Hive swords and make them into weapons of light, giving you the 3 exotic swords, and also legendary, that you use to destroy people in the Court of Oryx. Some of you even use it in the Crucible, which Lord Shaxx probably thanks you for that, trying it differently, and trying to, I guess, become him. I don't know if he wants that or not, but he wants you Guardians to be as well prepared as anyone else could be. I'm going to give you guys a 2-for-1 video, kind of, really, because the Iron Banner is tied into the Crucible. Now you're wondering why the Iron Banner is different, and also why Lord Saladin is heading of it. Because the Iron Banner is newer, why not the younger Lord Shaxx? Well, Lord Shaxx and Lord Saladin aren't really on the best of terms. They kind of saw differently the idea of the Crucible, whereas the Crucible is helping you gear for this war with the Fallen or any Battle of the Twilight Gap remake. The Iron Banner is trying to help you fight for something with no concept of fair play. The Crucible has its rules. Everyone is scaled to the same light level, and everyone has a fair chance of killing each other. Whereas the Iron Banner, there is no rules, no concept of fair play, as I just said. Lord Saladin is trying to say that your gear is everything. If you have great gear versus a person with less gear and a worse gun, you're gonna win, hopefully. He doesn't want you to mock a war where everything is fair and dandy, all sugar sprinkled and nice and sweet. No, he wants relentless mock war. He wants it to be unfair. He wants the weak to lose and the strong survive. So that is Lord Shaxx for you. You understand why he pushes you so hard in the Crucible, and you know where he came from. You can't really blame him, because he's kind of a badass and he could probably kill you Guardian any time of the week. So please don't try to mess with him, because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Every single move that you do with his sword, he's done it 10 times over. He's taught you that trick. He probably knows more. He's also trained alongside Commander Zavala of the Vanguard, you know, the head of all operations going out, and trained by Saladin Forge, Lord Saladin, the head of the Iron Banner. You Guardian haven't seen war such as the Battle of Twilight Gap, but next time Lord Shaxx yells at you for losing in the Crucible and you laugh it off, take him seriously. He's trying to prepare you, so when the time does come for another war brought to the last city on Earth, you will be ready, thanks to him. But anyways, that's been it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Later, Guardians.